Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Pup. We are back with season 7 of the GWA. We're back with another season. This season we are drafting a really fun team, and we're gonna have our week 1 matchup in this. So this video is probably gonna be like an hour and a half long because our week 1 match basically went to timer. It was crazy. But we had the second pick overall in the draft, and I don't even remember what I wanted to pick. If I'm being honest, I might have picked like Palafin, or I don't even know if it was available. You know, I completely have no clue. But I saw some Pokemon that I wanted to use. I saw that Tornadus Therian was on the board, and I wanted to grab it because it was a little bit cheap. I think it was like 16 points only, so I tried to grab that and wanted to build around that. And that's why, I mean, you'll see my team and my opponent's team on here just so I can talk about it all. We're going to start off with a Tornadus. Really just want to build around this Pokemon. Great 121 speed tier with Regenerator. Has a knockoff, U-turn, Bleak Wind Storm, Hurricane. Those moves are just staples on this Pokemon. Has good coverage with Icy Wind as well. Heat Wave. Just a really solid overall Pokemon. Has setup opportunities on the physical side especially. But it's just really annoying to kill. It definitely like never dies to one hit. To basically any Pokemon unless they're like Choice Banded or Choice Specs. And can be very, very annoying to kill. Will live literally forever. So I really want to build around that, make sort of a semi-stall team, as you can see here. I mean, you can see all my picks, but you know, it's pretty crazy. Next up, I decided that I want to go with Iron Hands. It's a Pokemon that I really wanted to use for a while in this generation and never had a chance to. I mean, it's a slow, bulky Pokemon, like 140 base HP, which is crazy, and then really strong attack. So it's really nice for that. It has slow momentum with a Volt Switch, so it's a nice core with the fast U-turn from Torn, being able to eat some hits. And then I can recover my health back with like Drain Punch is really solid. Also just hits really hard with stuff like, you know, Ice Punch for the grounds that we need to cover. So you run Thunder Punch, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, and like Fake Out or Volt Switch or something like that basically every week, and you're just destroying them. Unfortunately, this Pokemon doesn't get knockoff, which is really annoying because I figured it would. You know, Hariyama does. I just used that in VGC. It was really nice to have knockoff. So Big Hands not having it is a little bit annoying, but it's still a really solid Pokemon that I'm really excited to use. And next up, a great pair with the Iron Hands is going to be Screamtail, because I can pass wishes to that thing. Obviously, Screamtail has a little bit more HP, or a little bit less HP, sorry, than the Iron Hands, but we can still pass wishes and get that thing healthy, which is really strong for my team. It's also a nice T-Wave spammer, so I can actually run some fast Iron Hand sets and catch people off guard, and you know, really just cripple their team down. It's also nice for Encore support, making sure that I can't get set up on to just beat my stall. I have obviously Wish support. I have Psychic Noise, making sure they can't heal. Great coverage on this Pokemon with Fire, Ice, like Flamethrower, Ice Beam. Is really strong. Has Focus Blast, I think Aura Sphere as well. I can run it as like Calm Mind, Stored Power sort of sets, which I've done in the past. Most recently, I guess you guys will see it in the BBR Week 8, which won't be up, but it'll be up soon. But it's just a really solid Pokemon. 111 speed tier is really nice as well. Pairs great with what I have on the board so far. And I think my philosophy for this generation I've really found is that you need like 3 or 4 Pokemon that are like 110 or above to really be competitive. And it's even not too bad to have multiple Pokemon that are around that 110. As you see, I do have 3 Pokemon that are 110 or 111 here. And, you know, Screamtail, I don't have to run max speed on it every week, you know. Ogerpon, Iron Moth, I don't have to run max speed on it all the time, especially if we have some sort of boosting opportunity, which all 3 of those Pokemon do. But we have some stuff that's a lot faster that really makes up those speed tiers. So I've really learned that, you know, I need some stuff that's really fast, and that doesn't matter what actual speed investment you put in the game. It just forces a lot of prep out of your opponent, wastes a lot of EVs on their side of looking for that speed, which is really nice. And next up, I decided to go for King Gambit. I used this Pokemon way back in the day in the APL, and it was fine over there. I mean, it was pretty solid, but being 4 times weak to fighting is tough. Luckily, we do have a nice resist in Screamtail, and then another great resist in Regen Torn. So it's really solid. You know, I can run Chople or Shuckaberry decently often because, you know, we have Torn that also, you know, eats up those ground type moves. but I can stay in as much as I want. Supreme Overlord is really nice with like Sucker Punch to be able to clean up games. Kowtow Cleave is really, really strong. I'm not sure what its exact attack stat is, but it's really, really strong. And it's a great fairy killer, even being, you know, not actually resisting the fairy type moves because of its dark and steel typing. Iron Head just hits really, really hard off of its attack stat, and especially if I get a couple boosts with Supreme Overlord. It really is just a nice Pokemon, another Stealth Rocker, potentially for the team. I can just run it bulky as more of like a, you know, come in and wall break sort of Pokemon, or I can save it for the late game, try to play some mind games, get the Sucker Punch sweeps going on. But it's a little bit harder to do that in draft than in OU because your opponent can prepare for it. And I will see probably a lot of people run stuff like sub or, you know, setup moves, recovery, just to try to outstall out my Kingambit. And the next 5th Pokemon on the team, and my first Terra Captain, is going to be Terra Inteleon. In this league, we cannot repeat Terra typings at all. So my Terra typings are Water, Flying, and Electric. Electric is great for basically, I mean, it's just hitting other bulky water types, which I do struggle on my team to beat somewhat, especially if they're fast and can outpace my Iron Hands. So I really want to be able to have that, which is solid. And then Flying is nice because it allows me to hit the grass types. It gives me another ground immunity, which is really nice. I could have picked something, you know, like Ice to be able to do that, but I do have Terra Avalugg on my team that I really wanted. But this Pokemon is really fast, you know, 120 base speed. I have Terra Water with Snipe Shot, Sniper sort of shenanigans if I want to run that. It's also really strong with like Hydro Pump Choice Specs because it outspeeds most of the metagame. It's just really strong, a nice sweeper if I'm able to actually hit my moves. It has U-turn or flip turn as some good momentum. Sucker Punch, it can actually be ran physical, especially with Terra Flying. I can run acrobatics sort of thing, which would be fun. But its coverage is solid with Dark Pulse, Air Slash, and Ice Beam as well on top of those water moves. So I think it's going to be really strong and going to force a decent amount of prep for my opponents this year. Next up, I already talked about it a little bit, is going to be the coffee table. Mr. Avalugg with Terra, one of the best Terra captains, and I think it was a steal at like 4 points, something like that. And just a super bulky Pokemon. Has Recover, so I don't have to depend on Screamtail to Wish Pass, but I still can Wish Pass to that Pokemon. It just completely walls everything on the physical side. Even if they're super effective against me, they have to be something really strong, like the Urshifu that we see on the other side this week, to actually be able to do anything. But we do have Terra Fairy that covers our fighting weakness, and it also, you know, is resistant to, you know, a couple of other good meta options like Dark that my team doesn't really like that much outside of Kingambit. And then we have Terra Ghost. It can act as a spin blocker while also being able to spin myself. It's also, you know, just solid to be able to take on like poison types that are annoying besides my Kingambit as well. But this Pokemon is just really strong. I mean, it has great defense, great HP, and also great attack. I think it's like base 115. It's nice to be slow and, you know, always be slow. Know that I'm going to be slow. People can't really bring Trick Room that well versus me because I have this Avalugg that will do a lot of damage in it. And it gets great coverage. I mean, Body Press is just really strong off of its insane physical defense, being able to hit based on that instead of the attack stat. But the attack stat's strong too, so we can click like Earthquake, we can click Avalanche, which is going to be nice because we're always going to be going second. So that's like 120 base power ice move. And ice is not resisted very well. So I think that Avalugg is going to put in a ton of work for us. Next up, just because Avalugg is really strong, I wanted another Pokemon that's really able to take on bulky water. So I went with the Ogerpon. It's also just nice to be able to be speedy for one at 110 base speed, have reliable recovery with Synthesis, and have spikes, which is really strong. Obviously, on my team, looking at it, I only have one removal. So I feel like team's focus will probably be on getting hazards up against me and maybe not bringing their defoggers like they would normally. So being able to catch people off guard with either being able to rapid spin with Avalugg, that's going to come to a lot of weeks, or just a ton of boots, which you'll see in this week. So spikes are just really strong from Ogerpon. It's also just nice to have a good knock offer, so we can knock off potential leftovers that will run a lot against our team since we are more like semi-stall. It has Ivy Cudgel, which hits without contact, so something like Garchomp on their side of the field can't hit me with Rough Skin or Rocky Helmet sort of thing. Knockoff is also good for knocking off boots for the spikes that this Pokemon provides. I have U-turn, so more momentum, which is really nice to get into my other bulkier Pokemon. And yeah, I can run this Pokemon very offensively with like Trailblaze, Swords Dance. You know, Ivy Cudgel obviously, or I can run it very defensively, which I probably will do more often than not this season, but it's really good to be a threat in either role. Next up is going to be a ground type. I felt like I kind of needed it on the team because I don't love electric type Pokemon, especially hitting from that special side. I only have 2 resists, and Ogerpon isn't the best resist. So I wanted Sandaconda here. It's a great Pokemon to have access to Glare, so more paralysis potential from like Screamtail, Iron Hands, and then now this Pokemon. Glare is just really, really strong against basically every person in the game. But just a really nice bulky ground type Pokemon, being able to just spam EQ, click rock moves, click stealth rocks, be a nice little pivot on the physically defensive side if we're not going to bring Avalugg in a week. Just a solid, you know, Pokemon that fills a lot of roles for me. I also can use it as a sweeper, like Coil Rest with a Shed Skin is pretty solid. And it also has some sets with like Loaded Ice Scale Shot plus Rock Blast, which are also decently solid because it does hit pretty strong on that attacking side. And then my third Terra Captain, filling up all my Terra points, is going to be Magcargo. This is a 2-point Pokemon. I didn't want anyone to take it. It's a really fun one. I mean, you have Shell Smash. But unfortunately, when you Shell Smash, I think you only get up to like a 109 speed tier. So it's not really going to work in all of the matchups. It really depends on, you know, what we're seeing. But if we do get a Shell Smash up with this Pokemon, especially being able to tear it out of its horrible Fire Rock type, it can actually be pretty solid. I have Terra Dragon, which just means that we're going to be able to resist basically everything that can be thrown at us. Great resist to water, resist to fire, electric, you know, just basically everything that might want to be thrown at us. And we also have Terra Grass, which resists water and resists ground, which are both of our 4x weaknesses, and is pretty solid coverage as well, trying to hit some bulky water types. So something that actually could be really solid. I can also run it as a actual defensive wall. Having access to recovery, stealth rocks, lava plume is just annoying for other people to deal with. So if I do have a good matchup with this Pokemon, I will not be afraid to use it. Just because it's a Magcargo does not mean a damn thing, because this Pokemon can actually be solid. Next up, we have Iron Moth. I did snipe someone so late on this Pokemon, which is kind of funny. I just wanted a little bit more speed on the team. It's nice to have a grounded poison as well. Have access to toxic spikes. Toxic that will never miss, especially on a semi-stall team like this. And it's just a nice, reliable sweeper. I can run Booster Energy, Fire Dance, Sludge Wave, Discharge, Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam. Like, it's just really strong. Meteor Beam even. Really nice cleaner that is really scary on a team like this. I mean, I have all these Pokemon that are so defensive, and then you have Iron Moth, you have Ogerpon, you have Inteleon that can all just like come in and sweep if they get the right scenario. So it's really going to be a war of attrition against all the other teams. I think Iron Moth is great for it. Gives me another Pokemon that's weak to rocks, especially my team doesn't love that at all when I have one spinner on my team, but you know, we'll make do. We'll run a lot of boots. We'll rapid spin with Avalugg because it's a great Pokemon to have anyways. And hopefully Iron Moth is going to be able to put in a good amount of work. Next up is going to be Goodra. Just a great, especially defensive wall. Especially great in this week is really nice for me. But Screamtail can't always be specially defensive. I can't always run Assault Vest on the Torn or the Iron Hand, so I decided to grab something that is very, very specially defensive with a great Dragon typing that just resists a lot. So I can use it against Water, Fire, Grass Pokemon especially. But just great. Also has great coverage, being able to click Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, Ice Beam. I think it has T-Bolt, Earthquake, poison moves. I mean, it has Toxic as well, so we can stall people out with that Pokemon. And with the Wish support from Screamtail, we can just run Assault Vest or Heavy Duty Boots on this Pokemon and be able to recover it very, very easily. So I think it's really, really strong. It's also a Grass immunity with Sap Sipper, which I think is really strong. And Gooey can also be nice to stop sweepers that are scary for me, that hit on the physical, on contact side, so I can actually be able to outspeed them with stuff like my Ogerpon or Tornadus. And last up, I had a couple points. I just wanted to throw it into a Pokemon that I could see come to a game, but definitely forces some prep and makes my opponents really think twice about the sets that they're going to bring. Hopefully, at least it'll do that. But that's going to be Volbeat. Fills out a little bit of a better speed tier, having 85, so filling the gap between 80 and 100, or 110. So a big gap there, but pretty solid. It's a pure bug type, but it has Prankster. Prankster T-Wave, Prankster Roost is really just strong. Stops sweepers a lot of the time unless they're dark type and being immune to Prankster. And at that point, this Pokemon, I mean, I can run like, I don't even know what I can run. I can run Choice Scarf U-Turn and be really annoying for them. I can run Focus Sash and just be able to get off, you know, some strong hits. This Pokemon is actually quite solid. I don't even know if this Pokemon or Illumise is better. I just like Volbeat because I think it looks cooler. But I think it rounds out a great team and just makes like my team a absolute headache for my opponents to prep for. It's just going to be impossible for them to cover 12 Pokemon, all that can mostly be ran offensively or defensively or stall or everything, balance. I can run whatever I want with this whole team, and I think it's just going to be a super duper headache. And a lot of people are just going to, you know, run, okay, we're going to run hazards and be done with it and try to win that way. And I say no. So in this first week, I'm running mono boots, which is going to be pretty fun, and hopefully it's going to work well against Patrick. So like I said, we are playing against Patrick this week, who is a new member of the GWA. I think we took a lot of people from the MMC, where Dries was playing in recently. But we are playing against their team, which is really scary. I mean, we see gholdengo, which we don't have a great answer to at all on the team. Maybe Iron Moth is our best answer for that Pokemon, but we kind of have to run it defensively if we're going to do that. And then we don't deal well with like Garchomp sort of thing. But they also have Urshifu Single Strike, which is incredibly hard for me to deal with as well because Wicked Blow destroys my team. I have like a great resist to Wicked Blow in King Gambit that can run defensive, and then we just get destroyed by close combat. Also, Iron Hands can probably eat, but you know, like Choice Band variants are not fun for my team to deal with. So first of all, we're going to start off with our Avalugg here. We are with heavy duty boots. Like I said, every single Pokemon on this team has boots because I don't want to deal with hazards. We have Terra Fairy on this Pokemon, also sturdy just in case it matters. It definitely won't though. But just literally max HP, max defense, Impish, Recover Body Press, Earthquake, Avalanche. Don't even need the Terra Blast Fairy to hit Urshifu that hard. With max defense like this, we just one-shot it with Body Press anyways, especially if they have a close combat drop. But we just, you know, basically destroy their entire team with Body Press. They don't have great answers to it at all. Gholdengo is really scary for me to click Make It Rain versus me, especially with the low special defense. But most of the Pokemon are hitting either offensively on the physical side, or just aren't hitting that hard in general. And Body Press and Avalanche just hit very, very well into them. Earthquake is here to cover the switches into Gholdengo. Does a ton of damage to that Pokemon, even if they're bulky. I just have a great attack stat on Avalugg. It's like 115 or something. So Earthquake is doing like 50% to like a decently bulky Gholdengo, so that'll be really strong. Next up, we have Goodra with Sap Sipper here. It's just kind of nice into Toedscruel. Obviously, they can Spore me because of Mycelium Might, their ability, but we can take on like Giga Drains, Earth Powers, obviously, from that Pokemon. And we have a Calm Nature, basically max special defense. We have a little bit of speed just in case they're trying to creep me. I'm trying to creep them out a little bit. But we have Ice Beam, which hits the Toedscruel, hits the Garchomp, Flamethrower for the Gholdengo, Draco Meteor just solid versus their whole team, and then Toxic as well. That's mostly there for like defensive Pokemon like Blastoise, but it could be pretty solid if, you know, just a normal click into their team, especially when their team gets kind of stalled out by mine pretty easily. Next up is going to be the Tornadus Therian Regenerator. Great ability, making sure I get a third of my health back every single time I switch out. And we have enough speed to outrun basically their entire team, barring that Kilowattrel. Max HP and then a little bit of special attack. With Bleak Wind, Knockoff, Heat Wave, and U-Turn. Knockoff and Heat Wave both hit the Gholdengo, but Knockoff is just solid into their team in general. Bleak Wind is solid as well, and then U-Turn for that fast momentum. I really just don't like Diancie with this Pokemon. It's annoying for me to deal with. And hits me pretty hard with like a Diamond Storm. But, you know, pretty solid Pokemon into their team, and I can see myself just chipping them down, especially if I get a Spike Up with the Ogerpon that's on my other side of the team. Next up on the team is Screamtail, who I'm running as a little bit defensive. I have basically max speed on this Pokemon just to be able to outspeed their Ogerpon. Actually, no, I don't have speed for Ogerpon. Who cares about Ogerpon? I have speed for Garchomp and Toedscruel. I feel like offensive Garchomp is pretty solid into me, so that's why I have this as more defensive. But max HP just so I'm able to spread off those wishes that are really strong. And we have Ice Beam, which is for Garchomp, and the Toedscruel, Flamethrower for Gholdengo. And we just have some stab on here as well. We also have an Inteleon here with Terra Water. I'm probably just going to click Terra with the Avalugg in this game, but you know, pretty solid here anyways. We are bulky a little bit with some HP, which should allow us to eat most of the time a +2 Make It Rain from gholdengo, especially if they're not too offensive. But we're max special attack with a lot of speed to outrun the Ogerpon and everything below. And then just Hydro Pump hits them for so much damage. The only thing that really takes it is the potential Blastoise, especially if they're running specially defensive, which is solid. And then we are Flip Turn Ice Beam, which obviously hits the Garchomp and Toedscruel like we have on every other Pokemon. And then Substitute is here just in case we run into a situation against the Urshifu where they're trying to click Sucker Punch versus me, so I can go click a Substitute, take some of my health, turn it into that sub so they can't Sucker Punch me, and then I should be able to win the game from that. And last up on the team is going to be Ogerpon. Of course, its image is messed up, but it's an Ogerpon, I promise. Heavy duty boots like everything else on the team. And then we have Synthesis, Knockoff, Ivy Cudgel, and Spikes. Spikes are basically the most important thing here. They have one spinner being that Blastoise, which probably does come to this game, but we threaten it out every time with Ivy Cudgel. Knockoff is really strong against the Boots Pokemon on their side of the field. And, you know, we just Synthesis to heal back, especially against the Garchomp if they are more defensive, and if they are just running like Stone Edge plus Earthquake sort of thing. And yeah, this Pokemon is just really solid. We have a lot of HP investment and a decent amount of attack, so we're doing a lot of damage to the Blastoise or the Diancie that we can potentially force out. And then even stuff like gholdengo doesn't take it as well, doesn't take it that well at all, even if they're like max HP variant, especially the Knockoff versus them if they're not Colbur. But we're probably going to be able to knock them out with Torn, so we'll see what happens with that. But that's going to be the team for this week against Patrick. I've heard that Patrick is a pretty good battler, so we are definitely going to have a good game on our hands here. And like I said, this game basically goes to timer, so you guys are going to be here for a long time, so you better go grab your snacks. Let's go right into the battle. Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's your boy Pup. We are back for week 1 of the GWA Season 7. We are playing against Patty, and they have a pretty nasty team. They have Terra Kilowattrel with gholdengo, Garchomp, Toys, Urshifu, and the Diancie. That's a little bit interesting. Not exactly what I expected from them, but it's Single Strike Urshifu, which is pretty scary. They do have Garchomp, which I assume is just going to set up hazards all over my face. And I have just a very, very bulky team that should be pretty solid into whatever they want to do. Part of me wants to lead with something like Avalugg or Inteleon. I think Avalugg is fine. If they lead with the Kilowattrel, then we can always go out to Goodra. We could also go Torn, which should be faster than basically everything on their team. I do think Kilowattrel could be a decent lead into me, though. That Pokemon is definitely super scary. But Avalugg covers the Garchomp. Not really the Kilowattrel as much. Maybe Urshifu. I guess Diancie is also definitely a solid lead. In that scenario, I might just go with Inteleon because it covers the Garchomp and it covers the Diancie. If they want to go Kilowattrel, we can swap out. But good luck, have fun to my opponent. Also, hopefully everything is working all right with my recording here. I'm hoping that it does. But I got some new stuff for my setup, and then I tried to download some stuff on my computer, and then I corrupted my account, or Windows account, something like that. I don't really know. I don't really know what happened. But good. Alright, they're going to lead with the Kilowattrel. So we have Inteleon out here. This thing is Terra Flying Water Ground. We just go Goodra every time. U-turn makes a lot of sense to come out here. But we have our designated swap. I feel like this always makes sense, no matter what. Just gotta play it safe. Kilowattrel. They would always outspeed me if they're not modest. We'll be able to see though. And then T-Bolt should do just about nothing to Goodra. If they want a Hurricane, it's not even a 4 KO most of the time, unless they're Specs or Lorb. I guess they could be Terra as well. We'll see what kind of Terra type they want to go for in this turn. They are taking their sweet, sweet time. They're going to withdraw, so they're going to be faster. Get that double out to Comics. Is that going to be Blastoise. That's fine by me. That's totally fine. So scouting for Scarf makes a lot of sense. I assume this Blastoise is more defensive on the special side. I think it makes a lot of sense to be like max HP sort of stuff. And if they are Ice Beam versus me, I really don't think that they are Shell Smash. Even if they are, we could Toxic or Draco. I think Toxic makes a lot of sense because the Diancie might want to come out here. It also could be Gholdengo, which takes a Draco Meteor just fine, but we can Flamethrower them on the following turn. So I'm going to throw off the Toxic here. Flamethrower would be like a nice Soul Read, but I don't think it's worth going for that. I don't think that makes too much sense to go for it. So they're going to stay in. We are faster. Let's see. Probably just like a flip turn at this point then. It's going to be Ice Spinner. How much is this going to do? It does 140. 140. A decent amount. Can I calc that at all? Ice Spinner. I'm assuming that they're, you know, just like some sort of impish set or something like that. 140, that's no attack investment. I can Draco here. The health on this Pokemon is really nice though. So I might just want to go out to Screamtail. This thing's also physical, so we can go out to Avalugg. Which is potentially a good option. Catches like a... I guess it doesn't really catch Gholdengo. If Gholdengo might want to come out here, we could go Torn, which takes a lot to an Ice Spinner, but we get the Regenerator back up and we get U-Turn. They're going to take a decent amount of chip. I do think that they switch here, though. I don't think they stay in. And if they do, it's totally fine, because we won't take too much. Being decently bulky. As yeah, they do withdraw. So good. I think Gholdengo makes so much sense here. Tessero. Yeah, okay. Perfect. That's great for me. This thing can be Choice Scarfed, but I don't mind it that much. They also might want to go out to Diancie here. But the play for me is just knock off no matter what. If they stay in and let me get damage, then that's best case. I think they should go straight out to Diancie and start setting up their hazards. We are Mono Boots, though, so it does not punish me whatsoever. We can actually get some solid damage off on that Diancie because they can't really heal it back. Especially if they're like trying to be leftovers. So they're just Colbur. Colbur Gholdengo. They're still going to take a quarter off of a big crit. And they're going to plot up in my face. Okay. That is super scary. Gholdengo, their offensive plot. Colbur at plus, or through a crit from Torn. Let me calc this just a little bit. Yeah, maybe, what's that damage? Maybe they have some HP investment, not too much. Heat Wave definitely doesn't knock them out, and +2 Make It Rain will definitely knock me out at this point. So I have to choose what I want to do here. I could go for something like the U-turn into my Inteleon, which might be my best option. Because Make It Rain looks very free into me. So we're just going to U-turn. If they recover here, it's a good play. How much does +2 Make It Rain do to Inteleon? It's a good chance to OHKO me if they're max. If they're max, it's a roll. I will just go out to Inteleon because I do threaten them. As they're going to Shadow Ball, so that's going to take me out for sure. Yep, Inteleon just goes down. There's no Make It Rain, which is really surprising from me. Ogerpon super dies. Everything on my team basically dies to this Pokemon. That +2. Make It Rain versus Goodra does 255 max. It's a roll, but not one that I really want to try to take. This is just a really bad spot for me. Screamtail doesn't do much to them. Maybe we go out to Torn and just click Heat Wave. I also could click Knock to make sure it's guaranteed in range. And so I don't get an MISS. Because if we Knock with Torn here, there's no item on this guy. No item. We should be doing, you know, like 25-30%-ish. That would put it into Ogerpon range, I think. It would be close. I think we have to Heat Wave here. And they might think that we're choiced for some reason. They could think that. This plot gholdengo is a good ring versus me. I hope that they just click Shadow Ball again. We get a decent chunk of damage off there and a nice burn. We'll take it for sure. As they're going to recover up. Okay. So I'm fine with that. I don't know if they're actually... they're definitely recovering. I'll tell you that. They're definitely recovering. Because they have a good amount of HP investment. Man, what do we do here? I think I just have to spam Heat Wave. I mean, that's one recover. We're going to get a lot of damage off. Yeah, they're just going to spam it. 2 recovers. I think they might just be going for a miss. Which is why I'm just going to keep clicking it, though. I think this makes the most sense. As they're going to withdraw this turn, I could have clicked Knock, but it is what it is. Vermilion. Yeah, Diancie comes in. That makes a lot of sense. They're going to take just a little bit. Maybe another... Nope. Okay. I think we're just going to U-turn, or we could hard swap. I actually do think hard swapping is a little bit better. And we can go hard out to Ogerpon, I think. We could also go Screamtail and try to get a wish for our Goodra. But I think Ogerpon just puts on the immediate offensive pressure versus them as they try to click Spike or Rocks or both. We can also get our own spikes up, which are really strong versus them. And we threaten them immediately with an Oko. They're just going to Diamond Storm off the bat. We have a decent amount of investment. Dang. Alright, they did, what, just under 140. Diancie. I really thought this thing was just going to be, it was not going to be that, sorry. 140, that's no attack investment, I guess. Ivy Cudgel is an immediate threat to them. And the switch in, I mean, they really don't have a switch in at this point. I think I can just Cudgel. But also Spike is just really nice to go here. If they want to go gholdengo, that's the worry. That's where Ivy Cudgel might be a little bit nicer. If they go gholdengo, I think I just go hard back into Torn. And we continue the little race. Let's go Harabelle. It's going to be the Chomp. Alright, so we're going to get one layer of Spike up here. I'm getting a little bit of lag. Hopefully that's not too bad. But I think Avalugg can come in here. Also, Screamtail probably could. They might just be setting up hazards sort of thing. My Screamtail does have an defense investment. So, Garchomp, if they're a, like, invested set, if they're Poison Jab into me, if they set up to +2, they can't actually one-shot me. So I'm going to go hard Screamtail here. We're setting up for just Torn to be annoying in this endgame, I think. So we're going to go Screamtail. They're going to Rock Up. That's a wasted turn. And I think we're going to Flamethrower on the gholdengo. On what we hope is the gholdengo, at least. Because Dazzling Gleam or Ice Beam makes a lot of sense. I guess it also could be the Blastoise to try to click Rapid Spin. I'm going to go for it anyways. I think the gholdengo makes way too much sense to come out right here. And they do switch. Kamix, that's the Blastoise. Yeah, unfortunately. They're going to take some spikes damage, though, which is totally fine by me. And we do nothing. That looks very assault vested. Which makes sense. I think we're gonna wish here. And get a free swap, I think. They're probably just gonna click spin. Yeah. They're gonna spin. And they might try to take advantage of me switching out to Goodra. I mean, they could Ice Spinner again, but they're taking good damage. And we're getting a lot of health back. So I think we just go Goodra no matter what. No matter how obvious it is. They don't have a great Pokemon to go out to that straight up beats it 1v1. Unless it's Urshifu. So they're going to flip. Does nothing. And we're going to get back to full at least. So Goodra's going to be full. I assume they bring out the Urshifu. In banded close combat or Wicked Blow destroy me. If they're not banded, then we would actually probably live any one hit. And just be able to Draco them. Oh, we'll see what it ends up being though. Man, yeah, this is a tough one for me so far. I do think it wasn't the best matchup for me, but they're playing great. They prepped well as well. And I can't believe they just clicked Shadow Ball and not Make It Rain. I guess they might just not have Make It Rain. But I felt like it made a lot of sense to switch to Inteleon, but that's a lot of my fast offensive pressure off the board. By the way, they're not going straight out to Urshifu. Makes me think that it's not banded, but as I say that, it comes out. We're gonna get up to full though. It definitely can be banded. I think Wicked Blow makes the most sense here. If I went to Scream Tail, it gets 2-hit KO'd. But we'd have the speed. Ah, man. I really want to make like a potential Torn play as well. Could be good. If they're banded, does Torn eat? Torn does not. If they're banded. So it's like Scream Tail or it's Avalugg here. Avalugg is built max Fizz Def. Do they CC or do they Wicked Blow? If they CC into Avalugg, I mean, it's going to do just a ton. It will not kill me, though. But at that point, I think it's just better to go Scream Tail. Wishing that I had Helmet. But it's also, like, no Helmet's fine. As they're going to U-turn out. And they did, you know, 140 on a crit. So Scream Tail. Crit U-turn is not banded. Are they even adamant? I think they are adamant. So I'm assuming this thing is Choice Scarf. So I'd say probably Choice Scarf. If the gholdengo comes out, I just have to click Flamethrower, I think. I think they're bulky, nasty plot, so just like max. I don't know. If gholdengo comes out, it's actually really scary. Because they recover off a lot more than we do. Tessero. It is that gholdengo. They're going to take a little bit more burn chip. Get just under 75%. Get a little bit lower than that. But I could go Goodra if I want, since this thing is healthy. I'd love to keep it around, though, because Kilowattrel is insane versus me in this end game. So we're going to go hard out to Torn. We are just going to go straight out to Torn. This is going to be a long match. I knew it going in that it was going to be a long one. Ooh, might need to sit down. Got my new standing desk. that I'm at. Oh yeah, they're playing really, really well. I feel like U-turn, yeah, I wasn't even kind of thinking about it there. If I stayed in and clicked Draco, or like clicked Flamethrower even, if I clicked Flamethrower and kind of got the gholdengo, would have been in a much better spot. But maybe at that point they wouldn't have risked the gholdengo on a Flamethrower there. Yeah, we're gonna freely switch into Torn. Should live 2 Shadow Balls. As they're just gonna recover up. So that's 3 that they've used. 3 out of 8. They can plot up here, but I don't think that it actually helps them that much. It might. If we miss, then it definitely does. But that's not gonna happen because Torn and I are best buds. So they hard swap out. So now they're at full HP, which is tough for me now. They go Vermilion. Come on, give me a burn. No such luck. And part of me wants to just click knockoff versus this guy. On like kind of an obvious pivot out. Okay, if they are like no investment versus my Torn. Diamond Storm does a lot. It definitely does, but knocking them off could be nice. Maybe the time for me to get aggressive here. So I'm going to go for knock. They probably just click Diamond Storm, as they are weakness policy. And they're just going to Moonblast. So actually totally fine for me to stay in there. And now we just U-turn out. So weakness policy, good to get off of that Pokemon. And we're going to get basically back up to full on Torn here. That did a lot though. That did 160, just under. Let's see. Moonblast. Moonblast did 160 to Torn. That's like max Spatak, isn't it? Yeah. It's pretty close to it. How much does Screamtail take? We're at 268. Screamtail at 268. Most of the time does not get to it KO'd, which is nice. We also could go Ogerpon, which gets a free Cudgel off or another Spike. Although, yeah, I actually think Ogerpon is totally fine here because we can also click Synthesis. Is they're gonna Diamond Storm yet again? It is 200. And Ivy Cudgel is super strong now. I don't think they have any switch in at this point, so I'm going to go for it. Maybe gholdengo would want to come out. But in that scenario, it's just better to get damage on it anyways. You go Harabelle. Yeah, that's Garchomp. So it looks like a tanky Chomp. Takes a good chunk, though. I also think that we can just go for Synth in this guy's face. I don't think that Jab would do enough. I don't think so. Maybe I should have calced it. Garchomp, I think that's tanky. And if they're Poison Jab. Poison Jab does about 50% to me. We're faster than this thing. Always. And no investment, we always live. So we're going to get some extra health here. And they might go for Spike. If they do, it's wasted. But yeah, Earthquake makes a lot of sense there. It did about 90. 90 with that Earthquake. Let me calc that. Yeah, that's basically a max roll, I think. But the play here is to go Torn every single time. gholdengo is incredibly free versus me. I'm assuming that that Pokemon is Rocky Helmet on the Garchomp here. And they can click Poison Jab into me. Poison would be very detrimental, but I think they should always make that gholdengo pivot. And we're slowly but surely whittling them down on the Diancie. Killua. Okay, that's Kilowattrel. So that's a big threat to me now. We just go hard Gudra every time, though. They're definitely weakening my my defensive walls. Like that Scream Tail is losing health. Man, if I had just clicked a spike there, I would have been in a great spot, I think. As they're going to Terra this time. I'm assuming this is Terrafly. Yeah, Terrafly. Gudra versus Kilowattrel. They're Terraflying. And we do see Terra Blast. Let's see how much it does. It does less than 100. It did like 98. I think it did just under 90. Terra Blast. Just calcing here. It just looks like Timid. And we can drop a Draco here, or we can Ice Beam or Flamethrower. Ice Beam is pretty solid into them, but the Blastoise might want to come out. The Blastoise comes out. I don't know, Draco's probably solid. It also could be nice to aggressively pivot. I'm gonna Draco here though. The biggest punishing play is them going Gholdengo here. But I think I revealed Flamethrower on this Pokemon already. Actually, no, I revealed it on Scream Tail, so they could go out to Gholdengo. But yeah, it's gonna be the Toys, the AV Spinner. So we're just gonna drop that Draco, get a good chunk on it. And I think the play is to go Scream Tail. I guess Torn actually makes a little bit more sense here. It's at full health. I also can go out to Avalugg and potentially get my Terra off. But no matter what, I'm basically letting in the Kilowattrel for free if I don't just attack. And it can be nice for this Pokemon to be gone. Does Avalugg die in one shot to Kilowattrel? That's what I'm worried about. Versus Avalugg. Avalugg actually eats one. So I could go into that. Like, that is an option. But I think the safer play is just to go Torn. I think Flip Turn probably comes out and they probably go Kilowattrel. But I'm going to play it this safer play. Yeah, they Flip Turn. Is that a crit? It's Torrent boosted. Yeah. That's a lot of damage. Torrent boosted is unfortunate for me. But I just, like, if I get up a spike or two, I'm in a good spot. Alright, this thing comes back in. Scary Mon, for sure. But I think we always just U-turn out into Scream Tail. I also, actually, Ogerpon might just be better. Unless they click Trick Room here. Even then, I mean, we get a free Cudgel versus them. And a potential Spike as well, which is really great for chipping down their team. We're going to go Ogre. They're going to Diamond Storm again. We live. No boosts again, which is nice for me. And we just Cudgel. They don't switch in at all to this. Maybe Golden. So I guess if they want to go Gholdengo, maybe Spike would have been the play. I don't know. It's probably Gholdengo coming in. I probably misplayed there. No, it's going to be the Kilowattrel, which is fine. I don't mind that. We're going to get some nice damage. That's good. It's good damn. And I think it's just going to be Gudra time here. I think I'm going to go Gudra. I'm pretty sure their Choice Scarf on the Urshifu does not end up coming out, though, which is great for me. We're going to live another one of these. Oh, we're easily going to live. And I think I think I'm actually going to click Flamethrower just in case they want to make that gholdengo switch here. That I've kind of telegraphed is okay by clicking Draco and Toxic. I'd love to make that read. I also could have switched here. I could have pulled a double. Into like Ogerpon would have been really nice to get a layer of Spike Up. But I think this makes more sense. Just going for the Flamethrower. I really want them to go gold. And if they do, then I think we're in an actual decent spot for Torn. Torn does look really solid, but the Scarf Urshifu is what worries me. We do have Avalugg in the back still. Their Garchomp is a little bit chipped. Diancie is decently chipped, maybe at like 65%, if I remember correctly. Blastoise is about dead, which might just get sacked off here. No, Tessero, this is the gholdengo, isn't it? Nice. All right, great read for me. That's good damage. It's actually quite solid. They've used 3 recovers so far. So I think I'm just going to go out to Torn. I think Torn makes a lot of sense. They probably will click Recover. If they click Plot, I think that's also okay. Wow, we're not going to go to Timer, are we? Like, this is taking a while. If we are going to go to Timer, I mean, it would probably be on them. They're taking a long time on some of their moves. This is probably the double out to the... Oh, it's double out to Comics. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. This thing is super AV'd, though. I don't want to take a lot of damage on this Pokemon. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to knock it out. It's right at 25%. It's AV'd for sure. Blastoise. They're probably like max HP Assault Vest, at least. Bleakwind might be able to knock them out. They might be max Spadef as well, though. In which case, nothing knocks them out. And Ice Spinner, it does a decent chunk, but it's not anything crazy. Like, we can definitely live. So we'll Bleakwind here. We do land. We don't quite get the knockout, which is okay. And they're just going to flip turn. So they're going to keep that Pokemon alive for one more pivot. If we get a Spike Up, then it's dead. And a Spike Up, ooh, in this game would be insane. But they probably go out to Vermilion. And this Pokemon is a huge threat at this point. We're just going to U-turn. They're Moonblast Diamond Storm. I'm assuming they're also Trick Room. And they might be in a spot where Trick Room just beats me. I don't think so, because we do have Avalugg. That should underspeed it. And be bulky enough to eat a couple hits, I think. But yeah, Weakness Policy. Good bring by them for sure. I also think that Goodra would probably eat one hit. I think so. I'm pretty sure. We're just going to get a little bit more chip with the U-turn. Torn putting in a ton of work here. Going to be back up to full. And I think Screamtail just like kind of has to be the play here. Diamond Storm makes too much sense. As it's going to be Trick Room. Okay, that's fine. That's what I was worried about, but it's not the end of the world. I do think Dazzling Gleam is fine, or Wish. Do we get 2 code? There. Trick Room. If they are Moonblast, what's our HP stat at? We're at 268. Is that what I see? Let me click on it. Yeah, 268. 268. Moonblast has a good shot to 2-hit KO me. I think the play is to just Wish anyways, because I don't do very much. We're at 147. That did 120-ish. 147 only dies to 3 rolls if they're modest. It's like very much in my favor to live this. So we're gonna Gleam. As they're gonna withdraw, is this gonna be gholdengo? It is gonna be Tessero. Okay. I mean, we're gonna Gleam and get like no damage off on this Pokemon. But get our Wish up with Screamtail, which is huge. This Pokemon is fully healthy. Let's see. How many Trick Room turns? 2 more. So I could go Avalugg. It doesn't seem like they have Make It Rain. But I don't do too much, even with Earthquake. So I think it's just going to be Torn again. And I think I just spam Heat Wave. They might recover here. Okay, that's 4. It's 4 out of 8. This should be. They're very, very healthy again. And they're going to outspeed me on this turn. But next turn, I'll outspeed them. Yeah, I mean, they're just stalling out. At this point. I mean, so are we. I'm a bulky team. I can't really say that they're stalling me. Although they kind of are. And this is an intense one. They're going to withdraw. They're going to go back to Vermilion. Yeah, they are. And how crazy is it that I really just want to click U-turn and get a slow U-turn off? Oh, we're faster. Faster U-turn is not what I want, but it's good still. Because it means we can go back out to Screamtail. I was hoping that we had one more turn. I just checked them too. I was hoping that we had one more turn in that scenario, or I'd be able to get a slow U-turn off into Ogerpon and get up a Spike. Spike severely punishes their team. It's so worth trading my Ogerpon for 1 layer. Because they can't get rid of it because their turtle should die. And then it's chipping down this Diancie that's already under 50%. It's chipping down the Urshifu, which is important. It's chipping down the Garchomp. It's chipping down gholdengo. Not letting it recover as much. The Heat Wave burn was pretty lucky, I will say. But I will take it. And we're just going to go out to Screamtail here. I think Screamtail should be totally fine here. As they're going to Moonblast. Do a good chunk. Part of me wants to double into potentially Avalugg. But if they're Make It Rain gholdengo, man, I don't know. I could also go Torn, thinking that they could go gholdengo. And if they Moonblast, then I get to switch back out to Screamtail. So I am going to switch out. They are not. But we're kind of just stalling out their turns here. Oh no, they are going to switch. Yeah, it's going to be Tessero. Perfect. That's great. They're going to take a little bit more chip. How many turns are left? They didn't set up Trick Room, did they? Yeah, I'm being a little silly. And that was definitely a little silly. I think I'm going to click U-turn this time, though. I don't know if it's worth it. I think the continual chip is just so good on the Diancie. We're going to Heat Wave. On the off chance that they end up staying in here, they're still deciding. So they're really thinking about it, if it's worth it. I really want them to. I would love for them to stay in here and just take this Heat Wave to the face. But I don't know what they're going to do. Nah, they're going to switch. That's fine. Is it going to be Vermilion? No, it's going to be the stack of comics. That's fine. It actually does not die to the heat wave, so Goodra picks up a toxic kill. That's pretty funny. They're stalling out my heat waves somewhat. I do still have knockoff, which threatens them, but not as much, because they are so incredibly bulky. They should bring in Kilowattrel here. So Kilowattrel versus my my Torn is actually interesting because we always live a T-Bolt. We always do. So I might stay in. They go Vermilion. And this thing is low. We just get another U-turn off. We get it to be even lower. I think I just have to stick to it. Just go Scream Tail again. Potentially get a Wish up. Stay Moonblast. It's looking like they knock me out here. I really want to click Flamethrower. I think I will. They don't end up switching. We're going to get just a little bit more chip on this Pokemon, and they're going to pick up the KO with Moonblast, so breaking the chain. Okay, no, not Goodra. We're going to go Ogerpon. And it's a big 50-50 here. It's a big 50-50. What I'm going to do is Spike. I think this is a no-brainer play for me. I could potentially like threaten a KO here. But the gholdengo coming in is insanely scary. And if I get the Spike up, how do I revenge kill them? That's a great question. I mean, this thing is really hard to knock out in one shot. I might just have to go Avalugg and Terra Fairy and click EQ. Hopefully it would take it out. Man, this is a big 50-50. I do think the play is probably just to go out to gholdengo every time. But I don't know. They do withdraw, which is great for me. And they're going to go out to Kilowattrel, actually. Which is not quite what I expected. A Spike is really nice. The Spike, for me, is insanely good. Just being annoying for their whole entire team. Goodra still should take 2. Goodra still should take 2. Unless they go for Hurricane. Hurricane would probably 2-shot me. If they hit 2. It's going to be Terra Blast. We're at 197. Yeah, we do live another one. And at, what is it? At 62-ish, maybe? Something around there. Goodra should always knock it out with Ice Beam. And if this thing gets out of the way, Torn is so strong versus them. So we're going to Ice Beam here. I might need to get another Spike up versus them, but we're in a good spot, I think. We're in a great spot for Torn to just go crazy. If they want to go out to the gholdengo here, that could be an interesting play for them, for sure. Where I just go back out into Torn, probably. Because I would love to... I'd love to go Ogerpon on their cover and get another Spike up, but I don't think it's worth it at that point. I do withdraw. Is this going to be the Tessero? No, it's going to be Vermilion, so we get some nice chip damage on this Pokemon. With the Spike. Oh man, they live on 1. They literally live on 1. Are we faster? I think we should be. Even if they have some speed investment, I do have some on this Pokemon as well. So I'm just going to throw off a Flamethrower in case they want to save this as a sack, which I don't think it makes that much sense for them, but they can. Oh, man. All right, we do take out the Diancie, which is really nice because that Pokemon was a huge threat for me. And, I mean, what ends up coming out here? If it's the gholdengo, I stay in for sure. I do think that they have completely free close combats with the Urshifu, though. So Scarf Urshifu may end up just coming in. Yeah, it's going to be Kuma. Spikes come out. I'm pretty sure this guy is Scarfed. I think so. I think we're just going to drop a Draco and sack this Mon off as they click close combat. I'm like 99% sure this Pokemon is Choice Scarfed. It should be in range of Bleak Wind, though. I guess this could be something like AV, which could be interesting, but I think Adamant Scarf makes a lot of sense versus me. In which case, we are in some trouble for sure. I have to sack off the Goodra here. But I can potentially soon get another layer of Spike up with Ogerpon, maybe. This is a tough endgame for sure. Yeah, they're gonna Wicked Blow actually, which is surprising. I think we go Avalugg here. I think it's really the only play. Is we go Avalugg. And I think I'm going to click Earthquake on the Gholdengo coming out. If they go out to kill a Wattrel, then they got me. But we're just going to Earthquake, as I think this Gholdengo should come in here. I should see Tessero. Yep. And, I mean, we have a lot of attack, but they're very bulky. They do get hurt by the spikes, though. I haven't calced this at all, but, you know. There's no way we should knock them out here. Let's see. Versus Gholdengo. Bulky plots. They're not ballooned. I mean, this should still do a good chunk. Oh, that's a huge amount of damage there. That's huge. Okay. The play here for sure is to go out to Torn, I think. I mean, they could think that they could recover. They can never switch, though. Do I have enough to beat them? Because if they Shadow Ball this turn, as I go Torn, then they bring in the Kilowattrel, they get a free KO. I sack off Ogerpon. I go to this Pokemon, and I basically just get a knock with Avalanche, right? I feel like the Kilowattrel might be enough, though. I don't want to take damage on my Avalugg, I think. I think we're going to go Torn. I think we're going to do it like this. Torn can definitely win this game as well. They have limited amounts of recovers on this Pokemon. Diancie is gone, so they don't switch into Heat Wave. Potentially Garchomp could come in, but we Bleak Wind that Pokemon. And I guess they could still be Make It Rain on this set. So I kind of have to switch. So they're just going to recover. Okay. So Earthquake was probably the better play. Maybe going Ogerpon. But they're going to be just at 50%. That's 5. 5 recovers used, so 3 left. Long game for us. Dang. And, I mean, only half my team's gone. Not even half of theirs is gone at this point. Garchomp, I think, is chilling close to like 70% in the back. Will take spikes. Everything on their team will. As they will withdraw. So I don't think they switch into a Heat Wave anymore. They go Harabelle. That's going to be the Garchomp, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It's going to take spikes. And then it's going to take this Heat Wave. It's at 50. It's at actually less than that. It's at just under 45%. Okay, versus Garchomp. I know they're tanky. Bleak Wind probably won't knock them out at this point. If they are Stone Edge, how much does that do to me? It does a lot, but it's not the end of the world. I think we go for the Bleak Wind here. This is a tough one. If they're not like incredibly tanky, they could die to like a max roll, or a crit would be really nice for me here. As we do land, yeah, just miss out on the KO, which is okay. And they're gonna EQ. Maybe they don't have a way to hit me, and they're just sacking this. I mean, that's fine by me. Yeah, we're just gonna Bleak Wind again. We do land another one. That's great. That is awesome for us. And they probably bring out Kilowattrel. This is so scary. I think Kilo comes out. I don't think we've seen an item. It's probably Boots, but on the off chance that's like Expert Belt. T-Bolt at 100% is a 50-50 basically to Okomi. Same if they're like Magnet. I think it's the same. We do not knock them out with a Bleak Wind or a Heat Wave or anything like that. Yeah, we don't quite knock them out. But a Bleak Wind into a Speed Drop would actually be amazing for us. I need this Pokemon to be healthy, but I don't need it to be full health. So I think just Bleak Winding here is fine. As they're going to T-Bolt, we should live. Yes, we do. We get a Bleak Wind and we miss. That might cost us the game, if I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to. Because we're going to have to sacrifice one Pokemon here. It's going to be Ogerpon. Oh, man, I really wanted the damage there. I really wanted it. We're going to have to sack Ogerpon. Yeah, I think that miss is going to definitely do it. I got lucky hitting 2 other Bleak Winds and all my Heat Waves. So I can't be too upset. But we're going to go Avalugg. It's a 50-50 whether we Earthquake or Avalanche. I do think that they should stay in here every time. So I'm going to Avalanche. I think if they do switch to Gholdengo, though, I do have outs if I switch out. Because I don't think that they're Make It Rain for some reason. They're Plot Shadow Ball, Recover, and maybe like Focus Blast or something. Some sort of coverage. T-Bolt. I could see... I don't even remember what my team is, if I'm going to be honest. I have too many. So I don't know what they might be rocking coverage for. I got all my teams mixed together. I want them to stay in here. I really want them to. Do I? Yeah, I think I do. Because I completely wall the Urshifu with this Pokemon. They can't do anything to me, and they're Choice Scarfed. Because they do stay in Terra Blast. Should do like 50%, but not knock me out. So that is a lot more than 50%. Alright, Kilowattrel goes down. If they go Gholdengo, I think I switch out. If they go Gholdengo, I switch out. If they go Urshifu, can they knock me out at 90? Urshifu. I don't think so. They do go Gholdengo. And we're going to swap out here. We're at 162 HP. Man, this is so scary. I do think... No, I mean, if they Shadow Ball here, we should live and be able to get off a Heat Wave. They could hard swap out. And if they double here, then they definitely probably win. Oh man, it's so up in the air. There's still endgames where I think I can win this if they throw. Even if not, it's going to come down to the wire. It is going to come down to like 2 HP. Because I think if they're no poison jab, I think I should always live with Avalugg. Even if they are poison jab. If they're poison jab, do they do 90 damage to me? They do. Their min roll from adamant is 90. If they're jolly. If they're jolly, it's a 50-50. That's crazy. I'm gonna go Torn. As they do Shadow Ball. Is this a 2 KO? It is, and it almost knocks me out in just 1. Oh, man. I'm gonna Heat Wave here. If they switch out to Urshifu, what percent is that Pokemon on? I have to do it. I think they might want to switch out to Urshifu here. But if they stay in and let me knock them out, then I would have won. Oh, man, this is so scary. And, okay, if they switch out, they're taking spikes. They've already taken a ton of spikes damage. I don't know if I can win, though. Maybe off of, like, a Sucker Punch choke. They do withdraw. Kuma comes out. Oh, they're like basically full health. They're not going to go down to this. We do hit them. Burn? No burn. Avalugg super duper lives 1. Unless it's Poison Jab from Adamant. Let's Bleak Wind here. I think they're Scarfed. They are. They're Scarfed Wicked Blow. So they don't Poison Jab. I have to go Avalugg here, and I have to click Recover. I think. They might think that they knock me out at this point, but they don't. If I Earthquake on the switch, then I might be able to win this game. But if I Earthquake and they stay in, they win. I'm going to Recover. Please just stay in. Okay, awesome. We live that. And how much does a Shadow Ball from Gholdengo do? How much does a Shadow Ball from Gholdengo do? It did like 100 to... I think they're just no investment. To Avalugg, Shadow Ball does 50 to 60. I think I need to Recover again. Because if they just attack me here, then I'd super be in range. We're going to Recover. I really wanted to click EQ this turn on the Telegraph switch. No, they just Wicked Blow. Okay, that's great. But it comes down to if they have Make It Rain, which they haven't clicked yet. It just comes down to that, I think, because I think we beat them 1v1. Is Earthquake or Body Press better here? Does Earthquake knock them out? Or Shifu. Earthquake. Oh my goodness. I hate it when that happens. Sorry, Kate. I hate that. Oh my goodness. Alright, we have to click Body Press though. If they switch out, they switch out. But yeah, they just stay in a Wicked Blow. If they're Make It Rain, then they win. If they're not, then I think we will have it, but it will be close. Guess I shouldn't have clicked off and went to my calcs. Have to edit that out. It comes down to the wire here. They're super in range of Earthquake. Alright, let's click it. Are they Make It Rain? Or are they just some sort of coverage move? Please don't be Make It Rain. They should have clicked it earlier if they had it. They should have clicked it versus my my Torn. So I don't think they have it. I think they're just going to try to recover. They have 3 recovers. I've been counting them down the whole game because they've been stalling me out with them. Come on, Avalugg. You can pull through. They're going to recover. So no make it rain, it looks like, unless they're just BMing. This Earthquake should do a ton. Yeah, that's way too much for them to heal up. With the burn damage especially. A lucky burn for me. We're going to EQ here. They're going to go for the Shadow Ball. I don't think this is going to knock me out. Nope, we live on 77, and we're going to pick up the KO. 1-0 win. Oh, my goodness. That was a great week 1. 1-0 victory off the back of Avalugg. Huge game. Great game to my opponent, Patty. Wow. I am super excited for this season. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get a couple more, but not ones that take 20 years off of my lifespan like that one. But if you guys did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe because I know you guys aren't going to want to miss the rest of the season. Hopefully we can make a nice deep run with this awesome team that I have. That's about it. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.